Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm going to be doing some Cyberdark test hands. So this is a really interesting deck that's kind of like the counterpart to Cyber Dragons, which I just recently did test hands of those and did a deck profile of that. But it's a really interesting deck that Zane Truesdale played during the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX series, if you guys are not familiar with it. Basically, the whole point of the deck is to get out your copies of your Cyberdark monsters, like your Cyberdark Horn and Edge and Keel onto your side of the field, or in the graveyard, and then use fusion spells to go into your Cyberdark Dragon or your Cyber Darkness Dragon to get them out on the field to have a really big boss monster on your side of the field. So, without further ado, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description because we got some awesome rewards for you guys, like getting a deck profile of your choice every single month that you are a patron, getting a signed card sent to you in the mail, or even getting your name down in the description below, which is a really cool reward for you guys. And if you guys want to check out the actual deck profile of this deck, we do have a deck profile of this down in the description below and a link to it, and I just showed you my big tech card of the deck, which you guys didn't see that, you're going to see it in just a minute. So let's go ahead and see what we can pull off with this deck. So we're going to go ahead and do a couple of draw test hands where we actually just draw a couple of cards and show you guys what we're going to get. So we got a copy of our Cyberdark Cannon and a Desperado Barrel Dragon. I actually love Barrel Dragon. It's an awesome card. Cyberdark Horn and another copy of not a Cyberdark, but Desperado Barrel Dragon, which is not a bad draw at all. And then a Future Fusion. So we have a little bit of a variety here as well, because we can actually discard the copy of Cannon to the graveyard and then add a Cyberdark monster from our deck to our hand, which is usually going to be Edge. Normal summon out that copy of Horn, equip the Cannon to it, because the way that these work is every time you normal summon either Horn, Claw, or Keel, you can equip a Dragon monster that's level 3 or lower to the Horn, Claw, or Keel, which is going to be your Cannon and Claw, or excuse me, let me show you guys. Let me do it this way. So we're actually going to go and do Keel. Keel is one of them, Horn is one of them, and Edge is one of them. And then you have Horn as well, or Cannon, that these are the Dragon ones and these are the Machine ones. So you equip these onto these when these are normal summoned. They only equip when they're normal summoned. So that's basically how those work, which is kind of cool. But the Desperado Barrel Dragon is a really neat tech card as well, because what you do with this card is absolutely bonkers. If a face-up dark machine monster you control is destroyed by a battle or by a card effect, you can special summon this card from your hand, and it's not a once per turn. So if you have multiple copies of it, you can just special summon multiple Desperado Barrel Dragons. They're 2800 attack, and then quick effect during the battle phase, you can quick effect toss 3 coins and then destroy face-up monsters on the field up to the number of heads. And if the result is 3 heads, you draw a card, and then this card can attack the turn its effect is activated, which is pretty good. I like that effect, and it just helps out a lot being a 2800 beat stick and being a replacing like one of your Cyberdark monsters. Like if they do finally get through, because they have to destroy it by battle twice, because the equipped spell goes to, or the equipped monster goes to the graveyard, then they have to destroy the actual monster, then you summon Desperado. They're never going to get actually to your life points besides the battle damage that they're going to be inflicting. So let's go ahead and do another draw test hand and see what we can get out of this next one. So for the next one, we're going to get Allure of Darkness, Cyberdark Edge, Barrel Dragon, which you can actually summon off the Desperado Barrel Dragon. That's why you play this at 1, and a copy of Future Fusion. I never thought I'd actually be able to play Barrel Dragon in a deck. That's actually really, really cool. So we're going to go ahead and activate that Allure of Darkness to draw 2, and that's what we're going to draw right off the bat is our copies of Limit Removal and another Future Fusion. You'd activate that Future Fusion and banish the Barrel Dragon, and then set the copy of Edge, and then pass, because what you're trying to do is resolve that Future Fusion to get your monsters in the graveyard. So the very next turn you could Overload Fusion if you wanted to, and be able to go off from there. If you drew into another Cyberdark monster, I'd recommend battling first, and with a equipped Cyberdark Claw to be able to send a monster from your extra deck to the graveyard, which would be your copy of Shooting Quasar Dragon, and then Overload Fusion to main phase 2 to get your Cyber Darkness Dragon out on your side of the field, and then you can actually get 2 of your Cyber Darkness Dragons on the field if your Future Fusion lives, which is kind of cool. So, let's go into our next play and see what we can actually get off, which is going to be an Allure of Darkness, Desperado Barrel Dragon, Cyberdark Impact, Heavy Metal Raiders, and a Pot of Duality. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys with the draw. We're going to go ahead and get that Pot of Duality to activate, which is going to be the last hand that we're going to get like this. I would go ahead and grab that copy of Claw to discard, and then I would activate the Allure of Darkness, which just showing you guys what you draw. If we draw into a copy of literally anything, I would banish that Desperado Barrel Dragon because you're trying to keep the Claw in hand. Discard the Claw, add a copy of your Cyberdark spell or trap, which is going to be the copy of Inferno. Add the Inferno to hand, and then drop the copy of Allure, which is going to let you draw into a Keel and an Edge, banish the Keel, normal summon the Edge, and then go from there, equipping the Claw to it, and dropping Heavy Metal Raiders, which gets you a monster that can't be destroyed by battle. Once, twice, and then twice actually, because you're gonna send the Keel to the you're gonna send the Claw to the graveyard, and you're gonna have the Heavy Metal Raiders on your side of the field, so it gets protected twice. And it also, you have the impact in hand if you can get into your other cards. So let's go ahead and actually play out one of these hands and show you guys how the deck functions when you're actually dueling with it. Now, it might look like you're just normal summoning a monster, but you're actually strategically setting up monsters on your side of the field to get them out to be able to go into your extra deck and be able to summon some really awesome monsters. So we're going to go ahead and draw and get a Future Fusion, Desperado Barrel Dragon, Allure of Darkness, Heavy Metal Raiders, and a Cyberdark Cannon. So this is fine. This hand is totally fine. You could actually discard the copy of your Cannon, and then Cannon's effect is going to activate, adding a copy of Edge to hand, because the Cannon, when it's discarded, searches your copies of your Edge, Keel, or Horn, whereas the Claw searches the Inferno and Impact. Then we're going to activate the copy of Allure of Darkness, because, you know, why not? Let's be greedy. So we're going to draw another Heavy Metal Raiders and a Cyberdark Claw. Now at this point, I would probably discard the Barrel Dragon, or banish the Barrel Dragon from hand, because we really want to keep our copy of the Claw and Edge. So I would discard the copy of the Claw to add Inferno from deck to hand. And once you add that Inferno from deck to hand, you're going to have some really interesting plays to go off with. So, actually, you know, I'm probably not going to activate and resolve that Inferno, so I'd probably grab the other one. I'd probably grab Impact, because with Impact in hand, you're going to be able to keep your copy of Heavy Metal Raiders on your side of the field, and you don't have really a way to resolve the Inferno right now, because we only have the one of Cyberdark monster in the hand. So go ahead and activate that Heavy Metal Raiders, and normal summon out that Cyberdark Edge, and then equip it with either your copy of Cannon or Claw. I would recommend the copy of Claw, because Claw is going to, when it battles, is going to send a monster from your extra deck to the graveyard, which is going to be shooting Quasar Dragon. And make sure that you activate the Future Fusion, because the Future Fusion is going to get you so many plays, because it's going to send 5 of your Cyberdarks from the deck to the graveyard when you're trying to summon out your Cyber Darkness Dragon, which is this guy that sends 5 dark monsters to the 5 Cyberdark effect monsters to the graveyard to resolve its effect and summon it to your side of the field. And when it does, you get to equip a dragon monster from your graveyard to it, and it gains attack equal to the dragon monster's attack, which is pretty good. You can get it all the way up to 6,000 in this particular build, because you're sending Shooting Quasar, and if the Shooting Quasar is sent to the graveyard, then you actually get to summon out a Shooting Star Dragon because it touched the graveyard, which is pretty cool. I really like that little shenanigans in between the cards. So that's going to be a first turn play. To show you guys, if you go into the next turn, you're going to draw into another card, which is going to be your Overload Fusion, and now you're completely set up, because you're going to send your 5 cards to the graveyard, which is going to be your Keel, your copy of Horn, I wouldn't send 2 Keels, Edge, Claw, and Horn to the graveyard. And once you send your 5 different ones, you don't have to send 5 different ones, you just have to send 5. I always send 5 different ones to the graveyard. Once you send that to the graveyard and you have that Overload Fusion, you can actually activate the Overload Fusion if you want to and summon your Cyber Darkness Dragon. But what I would recommend, is I would actually attack with the Edge and then send from my extra deck to the graveyard with Claw's effect my copy of Shooting Quasar Dragon, and then during main phase 2, drop the Overload Fusion, banish my 5 pieces that I just sent to the graveyard, and summon my Cyber Darkness Dragon. So you actually get that Cyber Darkness Dragon on your side of the field, equip it with the Shooting Quasar Dragon, and pass. I mean, and plus, this card, if you guys don't know what it does is it has this really nifty ability that it must be fusion summoned, and if this card is special summoned, you can equip a dragon or machine monster from your graveyard to this card, and it gains attack equal to the original attack of that equipped monster. And when an opponent's monster activates a card, you can send an equipped card you control to the graveyard, negate the activation if you destroy it. So if you send this to the graveyard, when they activate something, which I highly recommend that you do, so it's a disruption, so next turn when you resolve the future fusion and you summon your second copy of your Cyber Darkness Dragon, you just re-equip this, and when this is sent to the graveyard, you summon out your copy of Shooting Star Dragon. So you end up with a field kind of like this. This can't be destroyed by card effects or by battle once per turn. This is protected because it has both of these can't be destroyed by battle once per turn. This is equipped with Shooting Quasar, and it just kind of snowballs from there, and you get this insane board like this, and it's just really, really good. And if you're going again next turn, you draw into your copy of Edge, and you can just normal summon Edge, and then, I mean, it's kind of like getting your opponent one more time and just winning. I mean, it's just crazy. Like, that is an ideal field. That is probably the best field that Cyberdark can feasibly make. The only thing that could have been a little bit better is if I would have had a Horn, Keel, and Edge in the graveyard, because if I would have had Horn, Keel, and Edge in the graveyard, I could have resolved Cyberdark Impact and then been able to summon my Cyberdark Dragon on top of Cyber Darkness Dragon and then really gone in with it, which would have been fun, because then you would have had both of them out on the field, the Cyber Darkness and the Cyber Dark. So we're going to go ahead and do another test hand and see what we can actually get out of another test hand of this deck. You're probably going to get about 5 test hands in this particular deck, and it's already shaping up to be pretty good with that hand. But like I said before, with this deck, what you're trying to do is establish a board first turn to live until your second turn or third turn to really go out. It's more about the grind game with Cyberdarks, which is fun and all, but sometimes you can just get overwhelmed, which happens with this deck. It just happens. The deck needs a little bit more support. So for this particular hand, we're going to get Keel, Horn, Future Fusion, Edge, and an Impact. That's actually pretty good. If you're going second, just showing you, we're going to get that Foolish Burial, which is going to be really good. And it's going to get us our copy of the... I'm actually going to say, let's just go second. Let's just show you guys. So Foolish Burial is going to send our copy of Cannon to the graveyard. And once you send that cannon to the graveyard, it usually adds a Cyberdark monster, which is fine. But I would discard the copy of Claw next, and then grab from our deck to our hand a copy of Inferno. So this is where Inferno comes in a little bit handy, because it has some really neat effects. What you're going to do is activate that Cyberdark Inferno as your field spell, and then normal summon out your copy of Keel. Keel's effect is going to activate, equipping your copy of Cannon to it. You then target the copy of Keel, return it to the hand, Cannon goes to the graveyard, Cannon's effect resolves, and you get to draw a card. Then you normal summon out your copy of Edge, because the Inferno lets you tag one in and put another one out on the field. Equip your copy of Claw, because you always want Claw until you get Quasar in the graveyard at least. And then activate your copy of Future Fusion. We did normal summon, but we didn't special summon, so you can actually resolve that Pot of Duality in this turn as well. So you were going to reveal and draw these cards off the top of our deck. I'd probably grab that Allure of Darkness just to be able to dig a little bit deeper, because we already have the Future Fusion on our side of the field, and I really just want to be able to dig just that much deeper. So we're going to drop the copy of Allure of Darkness now, and draw 2 more cards, which is going to get us another Pot of Duality and a Cyberdark Impact, which is totally fine. This is going second, so you can attack your opponent for 3k, or not 3k, but 1200 to the face, because it's going to be at a whopping 2400, but you can have its attack and then do 1200 attack directly with Edge. Send the Quasar to the graveyard and then pass, because you do have a decent field. Now during your turn, during your next turn, you're going to draw and get a Desperado Barrel Dragon. This is probably not going to leave the field. If it does, the Claw is going to go to the graveyard and the Edge is probably not. But even if it does, we have plays to go off, because you can just normal summon out, or you special summon out your Desperado Barrel Dragon. Let's just say it does. On our opponent's turn, this goes to the graveyard, and you special summon out the Desperado Barrel Dragon. That's what you usually do. If your copy of Edge goes to the graveyard, you special summon Desperado, which can come in really, really, really handy. So, we already drew for turn, and we're going to activate our copy of the Pot of Duality and reveal again the top 3 cards of our deck, which we actually forgot something. The Future Fusion. The Future Fusion is going to send our Horn, Edge, Keel, Claw, and Cannon to the graveyard again. And then after it does go to the graveyard, if we do Pot of Duality and grab a copy of our Overload Fusion, we have a Cyberdark Dragon on our side of the field this turn. Well, actually, we can't summon it this turn because we have our copy of Pot of Duality resolving. But you could actually hold the Duality if you really want to go for it and go Cyberdark Impact. And Cyberdark Impact returns a Horn, Edge, and Keel from your side of the field, hand, or graveyard to your deck, and then you special summon a Cyberdark Dragon. So we return these three, which are the three originals, back into the deck, shuffle the deck, and then special summon from our extra deck a copy of the Cyberdark Dragon. Now, Cyberdark Dragon is going to equip our copy of the Shooting Quasar Dragon to it. And then once Shooting Quasar is equipped to it, it has the ability of this. If you guys don't know what the Cyberdark Dragon does, it has the ability that cannot be special summoned except for fusion summon. And when this card is special summoned, you select a dragon monster in your graveyard and equip it to this card. And it gains attack equal to that monster's attack. And you gain 100 extra attack for every single monster in your graveyard. Which is really cool. I like that ability to gain the 100 extra attack for each monster in your graveyard. So it goes up all the way up to 5,000, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, so 5,500, and the Desperado Barrel Dragon is able to summon itself as well. We didn't normal summon, so you can normal summon Keel, grab one out of the graveyard, which could be a copy of your Claw. Claw is going to be really helpful because you're going to try and send something to the graveyard for your Darkness Dragon next turn. And it's actually, I'm actually going to put this here because I like to line them up. The impact is going to go to the graveyard, and now you can actually battle with the copy of Keel. Keel is going to send something to the graveyard like a dragon, any dragon that you have in your extra deck. You could send something, I would probably send like a Boral Sword to the graveyard because you're not going to summon Boral Sword. You could change that out for Five-Headed Dragon if you wanted to. Five-Headed Dragon being the most powerful monster that you can actually summon off of this. But the the Boral Sword going to the graveyard can then equip to your copy of your Cyber Darkness Dragon because you're going to go next turn, which is turn 5, and draw into your card, and then summon your copy of Cyber Darkness Dragon, and Cyber Darkness Dragon is going to equip Boral Sword to it, going up to 5,000 as well, and it walks with an end with a negation as well, and you end up with a field like this. Now again, as you notice, you have to grind out a little bit with this deck. It does have to grind just a little bit in order to get where it's going. And I also will mention you guys about the Barrel Dragon that you might have noticed just sitting in my hand. The Desperado Barrel Dragon actually replaces itself because of its effect at the very end of its text, saying if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add a level 7 or lower monster that has a coin toss effect from your deck to your hand. So you search off the Barrel Dragon, which is a copy. You can summon it out if you want to summon it out. I usually don't, and I just use it for a Allure of Darkness target, but it's still good to just thin the deck and get it out of the deck. So I play it as one of. It's like the one of Garnet that you play in the entire deck. And it's just good to, I hate to say Barrel Dragon's a Garnet, but it's good to summon sometimes because you can flip the coins and destroy stuff. But it comes up very rarely that you actually summon this card and get off the effect. So let's go ahead and do another test hand. Let me get that to autofocus again because I keep reading effects to you guys. But that's kind of the point of these how to play a certain deck, is to do the test hands and then read cards to you guys so you understand how the deck works and actually show you plays. And, you know, the first time you pick this deck up, you're going to hate it. I'm going to be honest with you because you're going to look at it and be like, oh my god, this is Cyberdark, it's really cool. And then you're not going to want to play to turn 2 or 3 and actually grind out to get those insane fields. And that's why I wanted to show you guys this, is because it can make fields like that and it's nuts. So let's go ahead and draw into our next hand, which is Future Fusion, Horn, Future Fusion, Cannon, and a copy of Edge. Now, if we were going second, which I'm just going to reveal it, I'm not going second this time, I'm just revealing it, is a copy of Barrel Dragon. See, sometimes you will brick with that Barrel Dragon, but it comes up, it works, it's fine. So, go ahead and discard that copy of Cannon from your hand to the graveyard and add your Keel, because Keel is the only one we actually don't have in our hand. So if we do top deck a copy of, oh my goodness, what's it called? If we do top deck Cyberdark Impact, you do have a live play. So, go ahead and drop that Future Fusion, normal summon either Edge or Horn. I would probably just normal summon Edge because it can attack your opponent directly later, and then equip it with a copy of Cannon. Yes, I did just move that, but I'm just showing you guys so you know where it's equipped to. It's test hands. You guys can move it in test hands. Don't move it in real play. People get mad at you. But now pass, go to your opponent's turn. If they battle it, that's great. If they don't, that's fine too. And then we're going to draw into a copy of Desperado Barrel Dragon. Now, the important thing is at this point, you're going to send, again, with Future Fusion, which is one of my favorite cards in the deck, your copy of Keel, Claw, Edge, Horn, and Cannon, which I got to find Horn as well. You send all those to the graveyard, and then once you send them to the graveyard, on the next turn, you get to special summon out your copy of Cyberdarkness Dragon. So it's really important that you start resolving some effects now. Normal summon out your Horn to your side of the field, and get your copy of Claw. Now, it doesn't matter if this is going to get destroyed by battle or not. I don't care. I just want to attack with that copy of Horn and Claw, because Horn and Claw are really pivotal to be able to swing at this point, because if you attack with Horn, and then this card attacks under it, then you can send a graveyard, you're shooting Quasar, and then you have something to equip your Cyber Darkness Dragon. Attack with the Edge, and then pass. It doesn't matter if they board wipe you as long as you have the Future Fusion. If they board wipe you, you're going to look a little bit like this. These are going to go to the graveyard, your effect of your cannon is going to resolve, and you're going to draw a card, which is limited removal, which is going to make this a field even crazier. And you're going to special summon out your Desperado Barrel Dragon right over here, and then we're going to go to our standby phase, draw phase, standby phase, special summon the Cyber Darkness Dragon. Cyber Darkness Dragon gets equipped with our copy of Quasar, and then you can do something really crazy. This is a machine monster, and it's a 6,000. You can normal summon the Keel. Keel's effect is going to trigger special summoning our copy of Cannon, or not special summoning, but equipping itself to Cannon. And then if you wanted to, just to get an extra draw, which, let's just look at it, would be Future Fusion, not worth it. But if you wanted to get an extra draw, you could link these two away and summon Wee Witch if you wanted to go Wee Witch. Or you could send a graveyard and summon this, which would be Predaplant, Verte, Anaconda. I probably, again, wouldn't go for Verte, Anaconda at this point, but you could later, because you have all those different Cyber Darks in your graveyard. You have Overload Fusion in your deck, so you can send Overload Fusion and then Fusion Summon further. So that's it for the test hands, guys. I don't think I got quite to 5, but I will mention too, when you attack, drop that limit removal. It goes up to 12,000, and this goes all the way up to 5,600, if my math is right. But you have a lot of different plays, and when it's all destroyed, you drop your second Desperado Barrel Dragon, which is cool, and then this just drops this off, which is cool. And when this goes to graveyard, you summon out your Quasar, or Shooting Star Dragon again. So that's it for the deck. I hope you did enjoy it. It's a really fun deck, as you see, and it's super cheap. Like, the main deck is super, super cheap, except for Desperado Barrel Dragon, which I think is like a $10 card, but it's about to get reprinted anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But it's really fun to play around with. Heavy Metal Raiders is an MVP tech. We didn't draw it this time, but it helps out a lot, because if you do have that Heavy Metal Raiders, it prevents them from being destroyed by battle and protects them twice, which is cool. I think we did draw it one time in actually one of those test hands, but it's really neat to be able to get those cards out on the field and have those weird combos where you have like Cyber Darkness Dragon, and Cyber Darkness Dragon has that walking negate on it, which is cool. It doesn't have quite as many negates as other decks, but also having those monsters that just don't get destroyed by battle once per turn, and when they have those equip spells on them, or equip monsters on them, it's just nice. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell near soon, become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out that Patreon down in the description, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.